This video is on slope formula. It's for when we have two ordered pairs and we're trying to figure out the slope. The slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And where we're getting this from, we have an ordered pair x, y, because we need 2 points on a graph in order to make the line. So when we have those 2 points, we're going to call them the first ordered pair x1, y1, because this is set 1. The second ordered pair we're going to call set 2, and we're going to call it x2, y2. So when you have a graph, we've learned you can do rise over run, you can have a table and figure out the rates of change, or now we have the slope formula. So really you could pick 2 points and use the slope formula, or if you didn't have a graph and you were just given 2 points, you could find the slope formula. So for the next slide, I'm giving you 2 points. So I have the points 2, 5, and 6, 13. I'm going to call this first ordered pair set, set 1. So I'm going to call it x1 and y1. The second set I'm going to call x2 and y2. So now with my formula, all I have to do is fill this in. So y2 is 13 minus y1, 5, over x2, 6, minus x1, 2. Then I just reduce. 13 minus 5 is 8, over 6 minus 2 is 4. That also reduces down to 2. So this means that 2, or 2 over 1, is my slope, or my rate of change. So when I have a graph, and I plot the point 2, 5, if I go up 2 over 1, that's going to bring me to the point 6, 13. Here's another one. So I'm going to call this x1, y1, x2, y2, and it does not matter which one you label set 1 and set 2. I could have easily made this one the second set and this one the first set. Your answer is still going to come out the same. So on here, let's do this. y2 is negative 6 minus y1 of 0. x2 is 4 minus x1 of 0. I simplify to get negative 6 over 4, which is going to give me negative 3 over 2. So my slope is negative. It's going to give me a negative graph. So I'm going to drop 3 and run 2. Okay, my rise is negative 3 and my run is 2. That's my slope. Okay, I have x1, y1, x2, y2. So 5 minus 0 over 2 minus, 2 minus 2. That's going to give me 5 over 0. Any number over 0 is undefined. 0's on top, it's 0. If 0 is under, it's undefined. Remember, if it's under, it's undefined. And an undefined graph is a vertical line. And if we look, if it's a vertical line, okay, my x's should have the same number. And if I look here, x was 2, x was 2. So on a graph, what this looked like is 1, 2. So 2, 0 was a point, and 2, 5 was a point. That's an undefined graph. Here's a little one with bigger numbers. So I have x1, y1, x2, y2. So 85 minus 25 over 6 minus 0. And if you notice here, your set 1 is in the first set, your second set is here together. Make sure you do not switch these numbers. If you switch the numbers, the formula will not work. 85 minus 25 is 60. Divide by 6 is 10. So what this tells me is I'm rising 10, and any whole number, it's the same thing as having 10 over 1. So I'm rising 10 and running 1. And the last one we're going to do like this. I have x1, y1, x2, y2. This one's a little different. I have 3 minus, and now I have negative 6. If you ever have a negative number, I want you to put it in parentheses, because a negative times a negative is actually positive. Over 10 minus 3. So I want to rewrite it first with the positive. So this is 3 plus 6 over 10 minus 3. Okay, these two negatives make a positive. You don't just drop one of these negatives. You have a negative here and a negative here. And when they're multiplied, they make a positive. So 3 plus 6 is 9. 10 minus 3 is 7. So my slope here is positive, and it's positive 9 over 7. Okay, find the rate of change, and what does this mean? Okay, they're giving me 2 points. So there's lots of ways to do it. First, what we're going to do is the way we've been practicing. So I have 12, 160, and 480. So I'm going to call this x1, y1, x2, y2. My formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I have 80 minus 160 over 4 minus 12. That's going to give me negative 80 over negative 8, which is going to give me a positive 10. Negative over negative is a positive. Now if I look here on my graph, I look real close. I'm rising 10. You have to pay attention to what they're labeled here. Sorry, so I'm adding 20 actually. So rising 20, running 4 to 6 is 2. So my rise over run is 20 over 2, which reduces to 10. So I'm getting the same numbers no matter what I do. And then this last one, we can do it with the formula again. So we have 50, 20, 30, 10, and just by looking at this graph, it's going up. So I know my slope should end up positive. So I'm going to label this x1, y1, x2, y2. So I have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It's going to give me 10 minus 20 over 30 minus 50. So 10 minus 20 is negative 10. 30 minus 50 is negative 20. Negative divided by negative is a positive, and 10 over 20 reduces to 1/2. So if I'm looking here, rising from 10 to 20, so I'm rising 10, running from 30 to 50, so I'm running 20. So rise 10, run 20, that gives me 1/2. So my slope is a positive 1/2, and this is a positive graph.